Hey there everybody, welcome to Azure Gaming. Today we are back with Pokemon Premier Journey here in Legends CA. It is episode 118 and I want to talk about a Zone 4 issue I am coming across. Now, I have kind of rechecked my method after a stream I had where I was doing this and I came across a few issues. Before we get to that though, promise me you want to stick around with the issues. We will have a few shinies we will catch. Because I don't think I'd like them sticking around here in Raw Zone 4. Let's talk about seasonal challenges. Now, if you notice, before I actually get to the seasonal challenges fully, I'm running from this post to this tree, and I'll explain that afterwards too. I'm still going to do that in the background. Alright, seasonal challenges. Complete the ZA Pokedex, that's checked off because we're done with it. Mega Dimension Pokedex, 85 out of 132. The Alpha ZA Pokedex, 226 out of 227, just missing Aerodactyl, funny enough. Alpha Mega Dimension Pokedex, 61 out of 112, got stuck on a tree. Shiny ZA Pokedex, 102 out of 227. Oh, I said 102, 106 out of 227. I'm actually quite happy that we're over the 100 mark. We can get fully halfway, which is what, like 13, 14? I think we are in a really good spot. Shiny Mega Dimension Pokedex, 8 out of 117. Complete all side missions, 186 out of 200. Making use of 100 donuts is done. And complete 7 viewer challenges for 5 out of 7. Speaking of viewer challenges, you see them on screen. Chillin' Reeve has given us 5. 4 have been checked off. You can read them if you want. The one that is remaining, catch a Shalpha in each wild zone, or 10 out of 20. Those wild zones are 1, 2, 3. I wish it was 4, but it's not. 1, 2, 3. I need to bring up my map because I'm going to forget something. 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 9, 10. 16, 18, and 20. I believe that's it. So we do have 10 done, so we are halfway done, but there are a lot left, including some very difficult ones like Wild Zone 4. And Grim Reaper, catch a rogue Mega Evo Pokemon. We have caught, we got Darkrai, so that checks for that. And there's one empty viewer challenge, but I can take as many as you guys want to give me, so please comment one down below if you have one. Alright, so I am running around. Why am I doing this? Well, before, I used to have a method of running from around here, just because I could, and then running all the way up until these guys spawn in. Right? But by running over here, I have spawned in other Pokemon. You can see a shiny there. And we will go catch some shinies in a minute. But I've decided to refresh that method because by running from here all the way to here, I'm spawning things in from 50 meters, which includes guys over here. So I actually have shinies that are in places I do not want, okay? And that kinda sucks. Now, there is a Ghastly that you saw, and I do plan to catch him actually right now. I do not want him to stick around, but I also had an issue where if I reloaded my game, and I did this a couple times on stream and you saw it, and off stream, I have a shiny Spinarak on that wall, and I'll go over here to spawn him in so you can see him. There he is. I loaded in one time, and my shiny wasn't on that wall. Because he wasn't there, I was like, did I lose my shiny? No, he actually spawned over here shiny and was hidden from me. So randomly, sometimes when I boot up, and I am on a Switch OLED, I am not on a Switch 2, I think the Spinarak on the wall can be randomly placed elsewhere. You can see there Spinarak on the wall spawn. Pretty much, I have decided that running from this post is 50 meters exactly from the back wall. And this tree is the 70 meter mark to despawn to what's closest. You see the mark there. So pretty much I am running back and forth from this post to this tree to spawn and despawn. Now I am on a Switch OLED and Switch OLED / Switch 1. The render and spawn distance is not as quick as a Switch 2. So being here, if I waited, you can see them spawn in, right? But they do spawn in even if they don't show up because the like computer or the system checks. So as soon as I cross here, everything on that wall spawns even if I don't wait for it. So I can just run back and forth to reset it. Now, my issue is, as I mentioned, and let me drop a save back here really quick. I like back here just because it's safe. I have a number of shinies I have phased on. We are going to go catch shinies in the Wild Zone 4. Now, this Fletchling, where is he? There he is shiny. I cannot do anything about that guy. However, there is another Fletchling I can catch because, actually no, maybe I shouldn't catch him. I won't, okay. So we're gonna look around for any other shinies that pop up. Now there is a shiny over here, right there, you can see him on the car. I am not gonna catch him because he is also just gonna reset. I think that's the spider on the wall. Yeah, it is, okay. And we're gonna leave that Spinnerack on the wall. I didn't see any other shiny, so it must have been the Spinnerack, okay. Pat Razin shiny, Pat Razin shiny. Oh, there he is. So we are gonna catch this Ghastly. There we go, let me exit really quick. Now the reason I am catching that Ghastly is because he kind of creates an issue. He sometimes bounces around. That Ghastly was not originally spawned there, but switching day and night, sometimes the spawns for the shiny can move around. And so I thought I might as well catch him. And so boom, let me mark that down. We are good. Now I do not think I'll catch the Spinnerack or the Fletchlings there because they could reset. But let's take a look at this Ghastly. Is he any good? Two pretty goods and a very good. The question is he actually any better than the ones we have? Two pretty and two very, so no, he is not. But that is a dupe Ghastly, so he can go over here. There we go. All right. Drop a save. I am going to run around also during the daytime. But yeah, my issue was sometimes the Spinnerack would move if I save, which got me very concerned. Oh, there's another Ghastly. Okay, so that's the Ghastly. All right, so hold on. Let me exit. We have got another Ghastly. I was not familiar that... Wait, no, that's the Ghastly I knew about. So that other one had just spawned in. Okay, that's not too bad. We're good. So let's see this Ghastly and see if he's any better. Oh, two very goods and a pretty good. He's pretty much almost like exactly the same, so... Got another dupe Ghastly. The reason I am getting rid of these is because my spawn will no longer reach there. Really, dude? Pat Rat? Oh. Shiny Spinnerack. That's not what I wanted to see, but it is what it is. That is... Man, that sucks, man. So obviously that's not the Spinnerack on the wall. We can still see him on the wall. So it's not the end of the world, but we do have another dupe Spinnerack. 4 pretty goods. That could potentially be better. Hold on, let me move him over here. Oh, there we are. Oh, no. Best tops everything. So we have another dupe Spinnerack, and it's not even the Spinnerack on the wall. All right, so I phased on another Spinnerack and 2 Ghastlys. All right, we are going to keep running around to see if there's not another shiny, and I am going to check during day, but you can see I'm phasing at a distance. So my hunt that I was doing before was very inefficient, right? But, and now that I've caught those things, this light post is 50 meters from the far end of that, and obviously you hear the shiny sound, that's the Fletchling, don't worry about it, and 70 meters despawns everything. So by me just running this back and forth, did I drop a save? Let me drop a save back here. So I've got I've got 2 Ghaslys and a Spinnerack that I have phased on. But by doing this, I have made sure that the limit of spawning is like right at the edge of this building. So could I possibly phase on a Ghastly or an Ekans or something that appears at that corner? Yes. And if I really wanted to wait for the Pokemon to spawn in, I could just sit here, you know. See, they spawn in, all that. But also, the only thing I have to worry about for the other Pokemon nearby being shiny, like those guys over there, or these guys over here, is if the day and night changes make them shiny. I am trying to focus specifically on the Spinnerack roll. And because I need a Shalpha, I can just leave everything over there shiny until I see a Shalpha. And the nice thing is for the most... Oh, it's switching day. Okay, good. We can check around for any day spawns. Again, I'm not catching the Spinnerack on the wall, and I'm not catching either Fletchling outside that I know I have shiny. So by running this, I am pretty much isolating, for the most part, those Spinarak. Alright, so let's look around, make sure there's any other shinies. But yeah, by running to this tree, I've despawned everything. And by running up to here, I spawned everything up to that. Oh, there's a portal there. Is that portal going to affect my spawns? Shoot. Okay, let's run around really quick. See if we hear any shiny sounds. Yeah, my Spinarak that disappeared during stream, which by the way, that stream VOD was, I think, the 28th or 27th. You can go check it out. My shiny Spinarak disappeared off, but I finally found it became this one that hides. Shoot. 1, 2, 3, 4, and my shiny's still up there. Okay, so the shiny hasn't been affected, removed. Good. So I am running around really quick just to make sure I did not phase on another. Dude, that would have been a great Shalpha to just randomly, luckily find. Okay, I found another Ghastly. I'll mark that down in a second. I heard shiny sounds. There's an Ekans. You're not shiny. I heard another shiny sound. You're not shiny. Alright, hold on. Let me pause and let me think. So, we have another... Whoa. Didn't mean to talk to you. Stop talking to me. Thank you. Alright, so we have another Ghastly. So we have phased during the day as well. See, this is what I'm talking about. We had so many shinies phased that we didn't know. And that's actively bad for us and, you know, what we're trying to isolate here. So, Ghastly only has a pretty good, we know it needs like a best to get in, so no. And then Ekans has a no good. So I doubt it's better. Oh, I need to mark down the Ekans really quick on my notes. Trying to type as fast as possible without messing up. Let's go. All right. So I need to run through again, but see how many times I have phased? 2 pretty goods and a very good. This has a no good, which automatically dings it. So Ekans goes into the box. So we have dupe Ekans. All right, so we've had a dupe, 2 dupe Ghastlies, a Spinarak, a 3rd Ghastly, and Ekans. That's 5. By the way, I have 3 more shinies, 2 Fletchling and Spinarak. So as of right now, I have... Oh, I thought that was just a rogue Ghastly. Wait, the cocoon isn't spawned here. What? Okay. So hold on, let me look around to make sure I didn't miss any other shinies. So I think the other shiny sound I heard was the Spinarak. Oh, yeah, I think it's that Spinarak. So I don't see anything else around here. Yeah. Hold on, I think it's here. I think it's when I turn my camera. I think it's trying to alert me, hey, you missed a shiny, it's behind you. Because, by the way, if you have a shiny, and I can test it out with the Spinarak, okay? So let me make sure there's not another shiny anywhere. Okay, good, good, good. We are good. So, the double shiny sound you hear occasionally on the Switch 1 all has to do with load times. That's the Fletchling outside. We don't need to worry about that one. I'm well aware of that sound. So, the reason sometimes you hear a double shiny sound is because the first time you approach it, it'll sparkle. But if you turn around before you actually get the initial sparkle, it will treat it as if you didn't see the shiny, and then when you see the shiny. So here, let me do this. Let me try not to alert him. Dude, Ghastly, how about... I'm about to knock you out, bro. Alright, so watch me have my, like, camera turned to the side. That alerts me, and then if I look at it, it alerts again. Because one time was because I didn't see it, and it's trying to alert you, hey, there's a shiny nearby, and then there's the shiny sound that plays when you actually see it. So on the Switch 1 and Switch OLED, if you hear 2 shiny sounds, it doesn't always mean there's 2 shiny. It just means that there's a... Okay, you know what? You're gonna be trouble. You two. Side strike. Take him out. I really don't like knocking out Pokemon, but he's not going to leave this territory. And so, yeah. So we are just back to our running. And now, we should not phase on anything at a distance. Because this post is only spawning up to the Spinarak. You can see over there, there's no Ekans or anything. So this run should eliminate any other spawns or, you know, dupe shinies or phases from anywhere else besides the Spinarak roll. Now we know we have two, so amazingly enough, with the 2 Ghastlies, the Spinarak, the 3rd Ghastly, the Ekans, that's 5 shiny. I realized I wasn't spreading out. 5 shinies, and then that Spinarak out on the wall and the 2 Fletchlings. I had 8 shinies I had spawned in. That is concerning. Okay? Because who knows if I would have phased. Right now, my checkpoint shiny is the Spinarak on the wall. And then my second checkpoint is that Fletchling. By the way, there is nothing behind me I can spawn in. And by running to that post, there's nothing else I can spawn in past the building. The only thing I can think I can phase on is over here. There's like a Kakuna and a Weedle that I think can become shiny by me reaching here. But yeah, pretty much I run this and occasionally I check to see if the alpha is shiny. So what I do is usually day and night I'll just run this. Like, this is my new method. I've only done this for like 2 hours. The old method involved running all the way up, which was spawning in everything over there, which is just a nightmare situation. But now I have cleaned out every backed up shiny, both day and night. We ran through the whole thing, and the factory had so many Pokemon, it's crazy. But yeah, right now, all I need to see is a Shalpha Spinarak. Now, I also know on that wall that there is a shiny Spinarak. So, like, I know no matter what, there's only 5 other total spawns there. And I don't think, unless one of these guys randomly turns shiny, that we can actually phase. Now, part of me is kind of wanting to do what we did with Wild Zone 1, which is this episode will not end until we get a shiny. But I feel like with the portal there, plus running, I could be here for a while because that portal message was, I think, where they're located at, because usually 2 or 3 can spawn in right around there, but yeah. But I need to stop checking, I need to keep running. So yeah, I had issues with the Spinarak on that roll. If I saved and reloaded, sometimes the Spinarak on the wall would not appear on the wall. He would appear on a random side of a gravestone, which sucked, by the way. Because when that shiny's my checkpoint shiny, and he vanishes, and I'm like, wait, hold on, he's gone. You literally watch the stream. It's so crazy. I had a moment where so let me explain it calmly, because I get worked up thinking about it. I saved behind the gravestone here, and I ran around to see if there was any shinies, and I saw, I think, 1, right? So at that point, I stopped, and it's like, okay, now I'll reboot my save. And that's when I was still running up to like that the grave things over there to check on them. And so I ran up and I realized, wait a minute, my shiny Spinarak is gone. Did I spawn in 10 of the shinies? And so I panicked and looked around both day and night and only found, by the way, this was still at that stream. I've done this for a few hours, like I said, but that was only recently as of today. Last night, I kept doing the old method. At that point, I only knew of the 2 Fletchlings, a Ghastly that was back over there, and the Spinarak on the wall. Now, obviously, I did not know I spawned in more. Also, didn't really check during the day, but now that I realize day and night spawns here are actually separate, and the Ghastlies do not count for both. Yeah, or not all of them count for both. It creates a situation. Either way, because I had a shiny when we checked that Ghastly that was shiny over there, wasn't shiny during night, but it was shiny during day. So the spawns are different for day and night. So yeah. But anyways, back to the point of my story. So I had saved, looked around, rebooted, or reloaded, and my Spinarak was gone. This was all on stream, by the way. You can literally go watch the June 20, I think it's June 27th. Or, no, sorry, June 28th stream VOD. June 28th, 2026 stream VOD. If you're watching this, like, later. And you can go and check. I booted in and my spinner rack was no longer on the wall. That was my checkpoint. That was one I was keeping an eye on. When he vanished, I thought there was 10 others. When there wasn't 10 other shinies, I panicked. I literally quit the game, did not save again, reloaded. Spinner rack was still gone. Looked around again, couldn't find him, reloaded. The third time I reloaded, the spinner rack was back on the wall, like normal, and it confused me. Then, off stream, I did some research, found out the night and day spawns for this area. The Ghastlies are actually two separate pools. I also found out that the spinner rack can occasionally, I don't know if this is just a Switch 1 or Switch OLED thing, when you reboot from a game, it reads the spinner rack on the wall over there as any spinner rack. So when you reboot, occasionally the game may read it as, oh, he has a shiny spinner rack, throw it anywhere. Instead of reading, oh, there's a shiny spinner rack on the wall, put it back on the wall. So yeah. So if you ever reboot, or if you ever quit and reload, and a spinner rack you had on the wall is gone, he's probably hiding out on like one of these side of these gravestones. And he can sometimes even be behind ones that are like, you don't know he normally spawns at. See, the one over there that's like, oop, I got a tiny mushroom. The one that's over there, you can see it right there. That one I know of. I didn't know he could spawn behind that and that, the back side of it. But they can. Which is kind of annoying because it's hard to see that. So yeah, pretty much I'm running back and forth. And it's boring, but this is the best way to isolate the spinner racks. You can see none of the Ghastly there isn't despawning. You can see the guys over here aren't despawning. You just can't see the Ghastly. You can kind of see him when I peek through there. And you can see as I hit this tree, the Ghastly's still there. He doesn't despawn. None of these guys despawn over here. So the only Pokemon right now I am despawning is the Pokemon there. Now, I think, and maybe if I position things right, you can obviously see the spinner. I do think I am occasionally, if I go too far accidentally, I think I am occasionally the like spawn right there. That can be an Ekans. I think I am spawning that in, so I do have to be careful by going over, because if I go too far this way, I can go to this corner. Nothing is spawning. Nothing is within 50 meters on this side besides that fletchling. That guy over there, even at the corner, the monkey in the tree back past there, that's still not within spawn distance. So we're fine. I cannot phase on that back end. But by even taking a step past this light post, like there, I have spawned in the Ekans. You may not see it, but I did. So I do have to be very careful about this. It is a very focused thing. But I do want to get Wild Zone 4 done, right? And that's just it. Right now, we have done the best I can to isolate the spinneracks on that wall. I have done my absolute... Oh, I overshot because I was trying to open up something else. I have done my absolute best to isolate those spinneracks. Now, day and night change cycle can still cause issues. Like we saw the Ghastly over there was shiny. During day and night, that thing can change. I mean, we can come across a Shalpha just anywhere randomly. Now, before I discovered this exact path where I can only load in the spinnerack, I was thinking about just resetting to Wild Zone 4. Like fly resetting over and over and just betting on a Shalpha eventually. I was thinking about doing that, because it would also give me my Kakuna checkpoint shiny back. So obviously we see one shiny spinnerack there. So yeah, and if I really needed to, I could like maybe at nighttime when it's chiller. Like during the day, there was a Ghastly right there. You can see him. he gets super aggressive. I do not want to deal with him. So occasionally during night, I may run a little bit more forward to try to check on everybody. You know, like see if there's a new shiny over there or not. But yeah, I try to keep track of the shinies as best I can, and I'm trying my best to not phase. Now, would I mind a Shalpha Ghastly? Like, I'm talking about the Pokemon that can spawn in this area, because now I have kind of restricted the pool. If that Ghastly, or that Ghastly, or that Spinarak, the Ghastly there, or that Spinarak, or Ekans can also spawn over there, or Honedge can spawn over there during the night, right? If one of those spawn, would I be mad? Or Patrat can also spawn during night. But would I be mad if one of those guys randomly became Shalpha? No, because that would get the thing done quicker. But my best bet is to gamble on the alpha 100% always alpha Spinarak over there to be shiny. Especially in this zone. Because let me tell you what, okay? And if you want to do this with me, go ahead. If you're on a computer, or you're on a device where you can keep me up and hear my voice, but open up the browser, go to your internet browser. Go to and I promise you this is a great tool for Legend ZA in general. Go to trainerlab.top/LZA, like Legend ZA, just LZA, right? Trainerlab.top/LZA. It'll bring up a map. And this map, if you scroll over to Wild Zone 4, you can scroll in on it, and you click Show All Spawns, you can see all the spawns around it. You can also see the complex web of spawns that I did calculations and measurements. I didn't make this. I'm not saying I made this. What I'm saying is I'm using this tool plus the marker, like the in-game marker. And I tried to figure out where every spawn is. Oh, I accidentally clicked his graveyard. By the way, don't click the gravestone. It will yap at you for a little bit. But, right, the big thing is with all those gravestones, or not the gravestones, all those markers on trainerlab.top.lza, a great resource, by the way, if you want to use it. You can see all the Pokemon I could potentially spawn in just by, you know, running around the old method. I could spawn in way over 10 shinies. I could, you know, and so I could phase constantly, right? But here's another thing. If you don't click Show All Spawns and you just let it click, if you click Wild Zone 4's number, that shows you all the Pokemon that can spawn just by resetting it. And that's way over 10 spawns. Now, some Pokemon share a spawn point, like Ghastly and Honedge, so it's not exactly like a dozen, but they show like 2. That's Ghastly and or Honedge. So you have what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. You have 17 possible spawns. That means there's 17 possibilities for a Shalpha, but also, if you didn't know you got 10 shinies, you can phase. So I'm gonna go really quickly check. Okay, so just still 1 shiny. And by checking, that does kind of, you know, potentially have a chance to spawn something else in, but yeah. Okay, you know what? I'm actually gonna kill this Patrat. Wow, I took 1 point of damage. You can see by doing this, I've had to kill a number of Pokemon, because sometimes they spawn right in my path and they won't de-aggro, and that is very annoying. But yeah, we can see Honedge there is just Honedge. You can see that guy there. You can see a Ghastly there, Ghastly there. And so right now, nothing here can, you know, mess with us. Now, there is one problem. Sometimes to load them in, I do need to stop, but I just need to run back and forth, right? Now, I did note that Trainer Lab does let you see stuff. It's a cool resource. Again, not sponsored, not affiliated at all with them. It's just a guy who created a tool that's really awesome, and I thought people who don't know about it should know about it. So yeah. But if I scroll over to Wild Zone 4 and I click Show All Spawns like I did before, you can see there is a fletchling spawn on the police car. There's another fletchling spawn on a post, but I don't think I can reach that from here. The Kakuna, the Weedle, and another fletchling on a nearby post. Those I might actually phase on. I wonder if I can actually see. I don't think I can. So I don't know if I actually have spawned those guys in shiny yet. I should probably check. Yes, I know you're there, Fletching. So let me save. And let me run over there and check. Don't spawn anything else shiny doing this. Don't spawn anything. Is it weird that I don't want shinies? Like, I'm so actively trying not to. So there's the shiny Fletchling. We don't really care about him. I don't mean that, buddy. You're awesome. This monkey over here, you can see all the way past here. Wait, where'd the monkey go? He's in this tree? Well, there's a monkey that can spawn, but I think it's only day. I think it's this tree. It's too far away to be affected by me, so just ignore that. Over here, there is a fletchling that can appear in the light post. There's an Ekans way over there that is unaffected. Oh, there he is. Okay, he's not shiny. The Kakuna and the Weedle isn't shiny, and you can see... Don't know how close I can get without scaring them off. There's a fletchling there that is already shiny. So, at the end of the day, I have those two shinies locked in. I do not know if I can affect that Kakuna. I don't think... Yes, I know, Fletchling, you're there. I don't think I can affect that, which is good. I can't affect anything upstairs. So as long as I stick on my little path... obviously, I've despawned stuff now, but... As long as I stick on this little path, I should not phase on anything. Unless the day-night cycle screws with me. And the nice thing is a Shalpha Spinnerack will stand out very much compared to his regular form. Right? Because, like, you see an alpha one, that's pretty obvious. Bright red eyes, bright green body. But a shiny Spinnerack, like, even if the small one pops up as an example... Okay, the little shiny didn't pop up. Uh-oh, that's not a good example. Come on, work with me, Spinnerack. Okay, the shiny still doesn't want to pop up. I do know I have a shiny there. We don't need to worry about it. It's just he spawns in randomly in one of the fives. Oh, there he is. But like, look at that. He blends in a little bit, but with the bright glowing eyes and the green body, a Shalpha would be so noticeable. So I would love the Shalpha to appear. The only problem is I only have one shiny Spinnerack up there. I am hoping by running this, we can get at least 2 or 3 more. Now, if the Shalpha just wants to appear, right? That'd be awesome. The unfortunate long game part of this would be the fact that I would need to, if I wanted to try to like meta game and get the best odds for the Shalpha, doing this, I'd have to do this until all 5 Spinnerack are shiny. And then get the Shalpha. That's the crappy part about it. Is there are 5 tiny Spinnerack and the Alpha. Now, obviously, if the Alpha just wants to be shiny, that'd be useful. But really, until I see 2 shiny Spinnerack up there, I don't think I made much progress. Now, I don't think I can really phase with this method as much. I mean, there's always the possibility to phase. Like I say, there's Pokemon nearby that if it turns day, like that Ghastly over there could randomly turn into a shiny Ghastly during the day, which would suck, right? Or a Spinnerack could spawn over there and be shiny, right? It is what it is. You can't control that. But what I can do is try to immediately catch them and move on. My best goal is to try to get multiple shiny Spinarak on that wall. So then eventually the only Pokemon as I'm doing this that gets re-rolled, or mostly re-rolled, is the Alpha. Now I will admit this is time consuming. It is very boring because unlike fly resetting, this I need to kind of be careful because like I said, if I go past this and it's day, I can spawn Ekans. Yeah. So I have to be careful. I could also draw attention. I could get attacked by Pokemon if I'm not careful. I could just miss my mark and run into a wall and not actually progress. Like if I'm trying to edit something and I do this, I have accidentally ended up running into this tree and not realizing it's in front of me, because if I'm editing, I'll keep my camera like this and I'll run. And occasionally I'll just be like, where's the tree? I was like, oh shoot, I went past it, which isn't a problem, but that's inefficient. Or sometimes I'll like get stuck on the post or on the little tombstone. And yeah, like, all right, that's resetting during day. But yeah, there is some slight issues I can encounter. With this kind of method. Also, the day-night switch isn't awful. And like I said, during the day, before I had that Ghastly over there that if I got too close, we're getting... Oh, there's an Alpha Ghastly. Not shiny, though. Like I said, anything could randomly become a Shalpha that is spawned in around me. Now, that's one of the reasons why if I ever truly get bored with this and I want to give up, I will just go Fly Reset 4. Because Fly Resetting 4, I can try to get back our Checkpoint Kakuna, which I miss. See, I just need a positive sign that we are making like a dent in this. I need a positive sign that there's going to be more than one shiny Kakuna on that stupid wall. But every time I look, I can see 3 or 4 Kakuna. And it feels like I'm not really making a dent. Like if there was at least 2 shiny Kakuna there, then I'm chilling. Or 2 shiny Kakuna. Oh my god, I talked about the Checkpoint Kakuna. And I'm Kakuna for brains. What I mean is Spinarak. You know what I mean. Like, by seeing 2 shiny Spinarak over on this wall, I would know we made a dent. But you can see there, every Spinarak is accounted for, not only 1 shiny. So I have not made a dent on trying to get any of those guys to be shiny. Now, if only I could, right? Only I could get more than 1 shiny Spinarak on that thing. Then I know, out of the 6 possible Pokemon, 1 being a guaranteed Alpha, that 2 out of the 6 are shiny. I'm big chillin'. And who knows, you know, if the Shalpha just wants to appear or one of these random guys want to be Shalpha. I've said this before in previous episodes and I'll restate it here for anyone who needs to hear it from me. I will take any Pokemon Shalpha. Arbok is a pretty cool Pokemon. It's not like the greatest because it's not really that usable. It doesn't have a Mega Evolution. Probably needs a 3rd form. But Ekans is also pretty cool. Ekans has a decent shiny. Arbok has a great shiny, and a Shalpha Arbok would be kind of cool. I like Cobras. They're cool creatures. And, you know, Ghastly would be awesome because obviously Gengar and Mega Gengar. Mega Gengar has such a great shiny, and he's a pretty good Pokemon. You know, Spinarak obviously is the obvious one. There's so many Spinarak spawns just in general. And at the fact the only guaranteed Alpha... Wait, is that another Alpha Ghastly? Did I just lose my mind? Okay, I'm losing my mind. For some reason I thought I saw a Ghastly. An alpha Gasig over by that tree. Dude, I'm losing my mind. I think what I did is I saw that Ghastly move and I turned my camera and I thought I saw it out of the corner of my eye, but it was really like as I moved like this. Just ignore me, guys. I've been really stressed about this thing, and especially about Wild Zone 4. So like I have been a little bit worried, but like the Spinarak's there, right? Again, they, you know, only 100% alpha in here. If I got a Shalpha Spinarak, I would, and with how many spawns, they can just randomly appear on almost every one of these like mini tombstone things, grave buildings, whatever. You know, Spinarak can show up a lot, so a Shalpha Spinarak randomly showing up would be okay. But yeah, it's the one I expect to be Shalpha, especially doing this. If Patrat randomly shows up Shalpha, great. Would I turn into a Watchhog? Probably not. I like Patrat shiny. Also having Shalpha Patrat sounds funny. Just a little guy. Spoopa would be awesome, but the Spoopa spawn chance out here is pretty rare. And yeah, not likely. But like I said, a Shalpha Spoopa would be awesome, man. Here's a hint, I'd leave it a Spoopa. I really like Spoopa shiny. Honedge would be the Shalpha of my dreams. Why he's not great in this game. I love Aegislash, and to have a giant big shiny Aegislash, I'd be so down for it. So like I said, any one of them can be shiny. Now for most of these guys that are nearby me at this point, for a Shalpha to spawn in, they would just have to hard spawn in. Because I am not resetting them. Right now, I think the only things I am resetting are the guys on the wall over there. And maybe if a Spinarak spawns, like, on one of those things over there, I could be spawning him in and out. But yeah. I mostly have this isolated to be that wall. Because like if I go and draw a line, it is literally like this line right here. Like I made sure that it was like only right here. Now I think an Ekans can spawn like here-ish. So if I go too far past that could spawn. I do think I could be despawning in like a Spinarak if he's like right like on that edge. But I don't know if I'm actually hitting that enough to actually despawn and respawn him. I think I think I would accidentally have to constantly go over this light post and not at the light post, you know, to do that. But yeah, let me actually drop a save really quick just to make sure. But yeah, this is unfortunately what I have to do. This is the only way besides fly resetting 4. Now, originally I was going to be like, oh, should we keep going this episode until I do get a Spinarak? I don't think so. I feel like I'm going to do this for hours, and I don't think it'd be a great episode per se. I might wrap this up pretty soon. But yeah, it sucks because I feel like I'm not getting anything done. I mean, I am because I'm trying to go after Chilla Reeves' challenge. But I haven't made any progress. I got one shiny Spinarak on that wall really quick. You can see him right there. But I have not got a second shiny Spinarak on that wall. And so it's like, if this is an inefficient, stupid hunt, at some point I might just abandon it. I might go somewhere else. Because I'll tell you what, I could go down to Wild Zone 5, right? And I can just go down into the tunnel area, you know, because there's obviously the Shalpha guy here. And I could just run underneath to, like, I think it was like the gate thing, like right here-ish. It's like the edge of like a metal fence. I could just run back and forth, spawning him in and out until he is Shalpha. And I think I'm literally isolating him and one Venipede. I don't think I'm spawning, oh, maybe the Bellsprout. But I am literally isolating 2 or 3 Pokemon, maybe 4 at most, if another Venipede is too close. But like, that's just it. That feels like I'd be getting more production and getting a cool Pokemon with a Mega Evolution versus this. This is all for a Spinarak that, by all my calculations, this should be working. Now, obviously, shinies are not boosted. Well, they are by the shiny charm. But they're still in like 1,250 or whatever, 20, whatever, 52, whatever. You know what I mean? Massive odds. Over 1,000 odds. So I could do this 1,000 times. And spawn in only a second Spinarak. And then I could do another 1,000 times and spawn in a third Spinarak. If I have to do this 6,000 times, I think I'm gonna lose my mind. It's not great. Versus, like, this is just it. Like, this is isolating eventually, and I'll eventually get an alpha or a Shalpha doing this. By all my calculations, it should work. I'd much rather reset Wild Zone 4 and take a stab at random day and night shinies. You know. And yeah. It's like in my fly resetting, yeah, I can phase on the Cocoon and the Weedle here, and phase on the Fletchling that's there. But during the day, or during, yeah, let's start day since it is still daytime as of right now. I could get a Shalpha Ekans or a Shalpha Spoopa. That's cool. Maybe even, you know, during night, I can get a Shalpha Patrat and Honedge. And anytime, day or night, it could be a random... Wait, did I just reset that Ghastly? Yeah, look at that. That guy's alpha. He wasn't alpha before. Oh, so if he goes too far back and I despawn him, I can phase on that Ghastly there. Because look, he's not alpha anymore. So if he floats that way, so I can still phase on things. Hold on, let me test something else. So the Cocoon and Weedle's like here-ish. Am I resetting that? No, I'm not. They're not spawned in no matter what. Okay, so I cannot phase on the Cocoon and Weedle. That's good to know. That Ghastly in front of me, though, if he rolls too far like that way, I can phase on him. But he has to move a very specific pattern to despawn and respawn. Alright, so that's good. At least I also know that the Kakuna and the Weedle over there, I can't phase on. That was the right location, right? Yeah, I think it's the tree right there. So like there, I know... Well, duh, no, of course I'd be phasing on him if he goes any further back. Okay, yeah. So as long as he's like near the post, or near like any of the buildings or the tombstones here, he doesn't despawn. But if he goes past behind like by the trees back there, he does. Man, see, this is a headache. Keeping track of all what does and doesn't spawn. And sometimes I feel like I question my work because I have seen no progress. At least I've caught every shiny besides the 2 Fletchling and the Spinarak I knew about. So I know all the shinies are accounted for. Right? So that's a positive at least. But like, knowing I can't phase means that every time I check the wall or I see only one shiny, I know I have failed to spawn another shiny. That's the sucky thing. It's like, until I see 2 shinies on there, everything I've done doesn't mean anything. See, but if I ever can see more than one shiny on that thing, that means I have made a step forward, and that will give me some hope. I just need a little bit of hope. Now, hopefully, I do find a Shalpha here in Wild Zone 4. And hopefully it's sometime soon. Yeah, I need to stop looking. But like now I'm getting to the point where I've checked and like now that I know the only Pokemon I think truly phasing on is that I was about to say that Kakuna. Now that I know I can't phase on that Kakuna and Weedle, but I can phase on that Ghastly if I'm not careful. But I can't control that Ghastly. Knocking out, it will come back after 5 minutes, so it really doesn't matter. And day-night split changes that. Yeah, like, I don't know, if I could just see one more shiny up there, I'd feel so much better about myself. But, is what it is. I will keep this episode going for another, we'll probably end it here in a few minutes. Is there any way we can get some last minute Shalpha luck and catch it and have a big, oh my god, what's going on, 4's done moment? Probably not, because this thing has been a nightmare. I have come to hate Wild Zone 4 because of this. Wild Zone 4 has quickly become one of my least favorite places because I've got a lot of shinies here. I've gotten a lot of shinies here. But this Shalpha Hunt is really making me hate this. This has to be the most difficult place to Shalpha Hunt ever. Like, I don't think there's a harder place to Shalpha Hunt. Because, like, here's the other thing also. It's not that rewarding. Like, from a Legend ZA standpoint only, right? And I'm going to talk purely a ZA standpoint, right? Like, we're only talking Legend ZA. If you got a Shalpha in here, cool. But, like, which Shalpha are you actually going to use, like, on your team? Arbok? If you like Arbok, sure, but he's not that great, and he won't help you really in the story. Spinarak? No. Ariados isn't that great. Doesn't have a Mega. Patrat, again, doesn't have a Mega. Not that great. I love Spooper Shiny, but yeah, your Pavilion isn't that great of a Pokemon and doesn't have a Mega Evolution. Honedge. Oh, what a cool shiny H/slash has. Well, unfortunately, doesn't have a Mega. Doesn't, also his ability really ruins him in this game. But, like, again, you're talking about what? Ghastly? Yeah, Gengar is a great Pokemon, but that's one possible Shalpha that is useful. And yeah, it's a great Shalpha and a great shiny. But that's just it. You're really looking at one Pokemon. And that really does suck. Okay, it's going to switch tonight, so let's just sit here and let it do its thing. So, like, yeah, Wild Zone 4 isn't the best. Like, what other Wild Zones are hard to hunt? Okay, maybe Wild Zone 1, but you can also end up just resetting for Pichu and running in. And why there's only a Pidgey there, at least the Pidgeot has a Mega. And if you get a Shalpha Pichu, dude, you're awesome. Oh, look, another Ghastly. Another Alpha Ghastly. But yeah, like, what are we talking about, like, problem-wise? Wild Zone 2, pretty easy. All you have to do is run back and forth or reset at the entrance, and you can get the Starmie or the Magikarp, both great with Megas. 3, the stair reset method means either one. Now, obviously, you'd rather have Litleo, but, like, you could get Pikachu, you can get, Esper. There's a few, So yeah, not to mention 3 is just so easy that's out of the equation. Anyone who complains about 3 has issues. 4, horrible spot to go for a Shalpha, and the only really one that's guaranteed alpha is a really bad Pokemon in Spinarak. 5 is fun to run through, but you can go after 2 different alphas, and they both have decent running methods. Also, if you just reset 5, you can end up probably getting the Shalpha Ampharos. So, not that bad. You know what, 6? Again, you can just run through it, but there's so many good Pokemon with Mega Evolutions. I mean, what? I think every Pokemon here has a Mega Evolution. Yes, it does. So you're not missing out on any Shalpha. Everything can technically be usable. 7 was a nightmare, but also every clip I've seen of the Fletchinder was only at night. I bet you if you only fly reset at night and reset the bench during the day, I bet you'd get shiny Fletchinder pretty quick. I'll be honest with you. So, yeah. I don't know when I never checked night until that one time, so yeah. 8, there's a bench that only pretty much resets Camerupt and one of the Crocodile spawns, so you are most likely to get a Shalpha from that bench, but just in general, all cool Pokemon with cool Shalphas and cool Mega Evolutions. Of course, obviously Crocodile and Machamp don't, but they are just also cool Pokemon in general. Yeah, it's like, again, 9, there's a bench reset where you can reset both. 10, there's a bench where you can reset it. 11 is a little annoying, but there is technically a reset method, so not the end of the world. 12, there's benches all over the place to reset. You just have to be efficient about it. 13, you can reset the entrance, and he is within range of spawning, I think. But if not, you just run to the entrance and reset again. Whatever. Not the end of the world. 14, you have to run in a little bit, but also there's a lot of cool Pokemon. Like, yeah, I'm not going to keep going over all of it, because, you know. But, yeah. I think 4 might actually be the worst place for Shalpha. So you are either getting a really mundane, bad Pokemon, or you are getting, like, I mean, if you get a Shalpha Gengar, you're cool. I mean, what can I say about that? You're just cool, man. Got a Shalpha Gengar. That's awesome. You know? But here, even if you get a Shalpha Ghastly, you still need to turn into a Haunter and find someone you can trust to trade it to a Gengar. Because you need Shalpha online trades, I am not trusting some random stranger. So let me save here. Let me walk up and check the Spinarak wall. See if there's more than just one shiny one. Oh, no it's not. That sucks. Oh, let me see if I can recreate the thing. So I close my game, and let me reload. Let me see if I can't recreate the thing where the Spinarak vanishes. If not, it's whatever. But, you know. But I do think after this, I will call it an episode. This one was more of a I get to complain about stuff episode versus a actual, like, progression episode. You saw what I'm doing. You saw the trouble I'm going through to try to get this Shalpha. It's not the funnest. It's definitely not... No, the shiny is still on the wall. You can see that. So I can just run back and reset, thankfully. But yeah, let me save here. I'm going to keep running back and forth a little bit. I want to thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know what you think down below. Until next time, tag out. I want to give a special thank you to all my Patreon members. Urza and Scott, you're amazing. If you guys want to check out Patreon and join it to get a shout out at the end, check Patreon down in the link description below. And you can also, like Scott did, make me re-record this.